Hey guys, welcome back once again. In this video, I am going to show you how to implement detailed row panel in grid. As you can see here, each and every row have this expand icon, and on click of this, the expand panel will get open. So basically, this expand panel is a completely a different component. Okay, so you can customize as per your requirement. And here, as you can see, I am passing this value as well. So here pod, and this is the model number. So here I am rendering them. Now let me close and let me open here this, and here I am getting the same. Okay, now let me refresh this page, and here as you can see, by default this row will be expanded. If you want, or if you are looking for this kind of functionality, here you can find in grid. So now let's say you have a requirement to display all the row expanded by default. So here in this video, I have handled that scenario as well, and I will show you how to expand all the row on the very first load. And one more thing, that as you can see, for the outer table, I am rendering a different theme, and for the inner table, different theme. So you can handle this customization as well. Okay, apart from it, let's say on expandation you want to render a graph here, something related to the price, how was the pricing in last 30 years and how it has been increasing. So you can render a bar chart here. So in this video I have covered almost everything what you need to know about the detailed row panel in grid. So now let's get started and jump to VS Code. Okay guys, so for this tutorial already I have created a sample project called react.js app. So here let's go to app.js, and here as you can see I have an app component, and here few state I am managing. So let's understand one by one. So at the top, as you can see, the app.css I am importing, and here this is the react and use state, and after that I am importing grid react. Okay, now I am importing this enterprise version, and here these two are a styling of grid. And here as you can see, this is the material theme I am going to use in my tutorial. Again, here this import is something from the hard-coded value data. So let's go there, and here as you can see I have couple of data. Okay, so here grid API is a state which is created by use of use state. So basically here we will store the information about our grid. Now this row, so row we are importing the data, column definition. Okay, and here this is the default column definition, and it got a one property flex 1 which will allow to render all the columns to take whole width. Okay, and this is the on grid ready function, so we will come to it later. Now in render, as you can see I am rendering a heading here, grid with react, and one paragraph subtitle kind of, and after that I am wrapping grid component into a div, and I am providing class name as a theme material, and here I am adding height of the table. Okay, now in this grid I am passing couple of property. The first property is row data, which is coming from the hard-coded data, column definition. Okay, so this is something we have defined here, default column definition, and at last on grid ready. So basically on grid ready is a function which will trigger once our grid rendered successfully on UI, and it will get me a parameter, means that will be the grid API, grid API, and I will update my state of grid API, and I will set those API for the future reference. So if I want to make any changes in future, this grid API will help me to do that. Okay, so now let's come to browser and let's see how our table is looking right now. So this is the recent look of the table what we are getting right now. Now in order to render detailed row panel, so we need to have a icon here, and on click of that icon that particular row will get expanded, so we can render our own component. Okay, so for that let's come back, and here we have to add a icon. So here I will add a property in this column definition of make. So here cell renderer, and I will provide this value as a AG group cell renderer. Okay, now let's come back, and here as you can see there something has been changed, but we can't see anything here. As you can see, the price column has been aligned properly, but in case of this make, here the value is getting shifted. It means there is a something happening. Okay, so now we are rendering our cell render, but we can't see. So here, in order to see this, I need to enable master detail in our AG grid. So here in AG grid, I will provide one more key, master detail, and this will take a boolean value. So right now it's true, and now let's come back. Let me refresh, and here as you can see, I got this icon. Okay, now let me click on this, and here as you can see I got a space as well. Okay, now I need to render something in this space. So as of now here I want to render a simple div. So for that here I have to pass another one property, and that is called detail cell renderer. So here detail cell renderer. Okay, and this will take a callback function. Here I will return a JSX. So here div, and I will return a hello and save it. Now let's get back, refresh this. So now let me expand this, and here as you can see I am getting this text hello. Okay, so now if I expand the third row I will get the same value because it's hard coded. So now instead of rendering a simple div, I want to render my own custom component. Okay, so for that let's create a new component. So here let's call it as details dot js. Okay, and I will create a component const details component return a div, and here mention that details component. Okay, now need to export it. So export default details component. Now let's get back, and here I will remove this text. I will render my own component. So here details component. Okay, now let's come back, and here as you can see details component is getting rendered here. So now the next feature is how to pass the value of the row to detail component. So if you can see I have expanded this row number first. Okay, so this Toyota, this price, and all those information should have to be passed to our component. If I expanding the second one, so these information have to be passed. So for that here let's come back. Okay, and here I will get a props which will have all the information. Now I will pass these props to this detail component by using destructuring. So here I will destructure this props and I will pass it. Okay, now let's come to the detail component. Here I will get all the information as a props. Okay, so as of now let's do console log to this props. Save it and get back here. Let me do right click. Okay, and here as you can see the object I got here, but I can't see anything. So let me click here, and here as you can see I got couple of information where there is another one here field called data, and data have all this information whatever the data I have selected. Okay, so now if you want to render any another data, or you want to use, or you want to make a API call to render something here, you can do this. So here what I will do is I will destructure this property. So const data, and I will get it from the props. Okay, and here as you can see I were passing this make. So I will render here h1 tag. Okay, and here I will render the value data dot make. Okay, now let's get back. So here as you can see I am getting Toyota, now here Ford, and here so on. Okay, so we are started getting this information in detail component. Got it? Now, what if you want to render a table component there itself? So in that case you have to do the same. You have to write again this table component completely there, and you can get it rendered there. So for now let me copy this table component. Okay, and here I will import this AG grid. Okay, I need to have a row, so I will get it from row data. So data, I need a column definition, so I will copy from here, and I can comment remaining things here. I don't need as of now. Div, so it's saying default column definition not defined, so let's comment that as of now. And here let's come and again expand this. So here as you can see we can't see anything. Okay, so I hope the problem with the style. So let me copy this style as well and wrap our component here. So div, and this is the div, and I will define here height as a 200. Okay, so now let me expand, and here as you can see I am getting all the information here. So here as you can see it's not taking whole width, so I will define this column definition here, and I will define this flex property as a 1, so it will expand automatically. Okay, here as you can see it has been expanded. Okay, and another one thing, if you want to use your different theme you can do that. So for that Alpine, save it, get back and expand this. So here it's not affecting, okay, because we need to import at the top. So here I will import this Alpine. Now save it and let's come back and let me refresh here. So here as you can see the outer theme is material, and here the inner table theme is Alpine. So we can change something like this as well. You can use this detail panel to show a table and make a API call on expand of this row and display or render data here. Or if you want to render some other information, you can do that. So let's say you want to render some graph kind of, definitely you can do those stuff here by rendering your custom component. Okay, so now let me come here, and here as you can see the height of this detail panel has been reduced, and if I expand here you can see the same thing. So now to understand better, let me comment this detail panel AG grid. I will comment it here itself, and I will leave remaining empty space. Okay. So here as you can see it has been decreased to 200. So now there is a use case that whenever I load this table for the first time, all the rows should be expanded and detail panel should be visible. So for that here, let's come back to our main table. Okay, and here this table will get one more property, and that is called on first data rendered. So here this is the function. So on first data rendered, and here this will take a callback function. So I will define this function here. Okay, and let's create this function at the top here. Here on first data rendered, and this is a function. If you do remember, on grid ready we are storing the API of this edge grid here in grid API. So right now I will use this grid API. So I will call it as grid API.API. So this grid API will have two properties. First is the API, second is the column API. Okay, so now we need to look through each and every node. So for that edge grid have their own for each loop. Okay, and that is called for each node. So here for each node, and this is a callback function which will take function here, and now here I will get a single node. Okay, and this node have a property that is called set expanded. That is the function, whatever the value we will pass, that will get set there. So here set expanded, and I will pass this value as a true. Okay, now let's save it and come back here and refresh this page. So here, as you can see, all the rows are getting displayed in details. Okay, so for this, what we have done, so on first data render, basically here we are calling and we are getting this grid API what we have already stored during the on grid ready. Okay, here I am retrieving this API, and here I am looping through one by one, and I am setting this expanded value to true. Okay, now the second case is I don't want to render all of them. I don't want all of them to be expanded. I want only few of them to be expanded. Let's say the first one or second one, or let's say only first row I want. So in that case here, let me comment this and I will add a comment. So for all rows expanded. Okay, now here for a specific row expand. Okay, so for this what we have to do is we have to write a function here in on first data render. Okay, and we have to modify some property. So for that here, let's say I would like to modify the very first one. So I want only first one to be expanded and remaining have to be rendered as it is. So for that here, let's come back and here I will write grid API and I will get a API access here. So there is a function called get displayed row at index. So basically we will pass the index to that and we will get the instance of that particular node, and we will set again the value to expanded equal to true. So for that here get displayed row at index and I will pass the index here. So let's say 0. Okay, dot I can pass right here set expanded and this value will be true. Okay, now let's come here, let me refresh, and here as you can see the first one is expanded one by default. If I am refreshing, it's got expanded by default. Okay, now what if I want to expand the second one? So here I need to pass 1 and the second one will be expanded by default. Okay, in case of 2, if you want 2 row to be expanded, so for that copy the same, paste it here and pass your 0th as well. So here first one and second one will be expanded by default. Okay, if you want you can break this line as well. So what you can do is you can define here variable const node1, or you can call it as a, so basically the index is 2, so I will call it as a row 2. Okay, and here you can set the value, so row 2 dot, and I can copy the same thing here from here and I will paste it here. Here it will make more sense that we are getting the instance of the row 2 here in this variable, and after that we are setting this property here. Okay, now if you come you can see the same thing here. Okay guys, so in this video basically we have seen that how to render our detailed row panel in Edge Grid. Okay, how to render a custom one, how to pass the row information to detail panel and render that component. Okay, next thing what we have seen is how to get all the row expanded by default, and the another we have seen how to expand a particular row only. Okay guys, so in this video my intention was to show the technical things related to detail row panel, not the designing. So that's why I haven't designed this detail panel and applied any one of the styles. Okay, but definitely you can apply lot of the styling and you can create a great look there. Okay guys, so I hope you have enjoyed this video. If you have any doubt, you can ask me in comment section, or if you have any suggestion, that will be appreciated. You can get download link of this code in description of this video. If you really feel this video was useful, please do like, share and subscribe. See you in next video. Take care.